There are so many veterans out there who have this idea that getting VA compensation is going to fix all their problems. You go through hell to get a VA rating. It can take years. So to go through all that and then finally a decision letter comes. And you think that, getting that money is going to do something for you. And it can, and it will, but it doesn't relieve a lot of the demons or the burdens that the veteran themselves is going through. And I think it's just a massive disappointment. But, let's get into why. I'll go into my personal story, right? I was homeless and I got a job being a cable guy for $7.75 an hour. I was living in this double wide trailer. It was infested with rats. It sucked. Everything about it sucked. And you finally get this money and you're like, well, this is expendable income. And so you spend it on dumb shit. And that stuff, some of it, right, you need it. You should enjoy life, you should live life. But at the same time, I still didn't have any other facet of my life together. Like my was as untogether as it can possibly get. And the thing is, it's empty. It's empty, man. You fill your life with these things, then it comes back. Maybe for a minute you outran survivor's guilt. Maybe for a minute you outran PTSD. Maybe for a week or a month you outran the helplessness of being stuck in the current shitty job or the current shitty house, or in my case, trailer. And it compounds too. That time that you thought you were outrunning it, that shit just getting stronger and heavier and bigger. And when it does smack, you're gonna feel emptier than you've ever felt before. And at least I did. And that's something that I think that's a weak point, right? We call it the war at home, we call it 22 a day, we call it what it is. When we lose our brothers and sisters to that war at home, it's a perfect storm. It's not a Tuesday that starts where anybody thinks today's the day Joe ends his life. It's not how it works. It's a Tuesday where he starts to feel that emptiness, and 3 other random things in life didn't go his way. The compound effect of all those things, that weight, that feeling of trapped, that feeling stuck, they're probably isolated, because what do us veterans love to do? We love to get out of the service and isolate. They're not surrounded by their tribe. They haven't identified a tribe. They don't even know that they should identify their tribe. I'm speaking from real, true experience of my own life. What I went through when I was at my closest point to losing that battle at home, it was then. It was when I started running from everything, and a few months later, what do you know? I'm still trapped. I'm still stuck. I still have no way out. Yeah, I've got more money, but it's not enough to make a difference, right? It's not enough to change my life holistically all in a month, right? It would take years of planning. It would take a mission. That mission, people overcomplicate the hell out of this. How am I supposed to know what I'm gonna do with my life? And I'm gonna tell you something that I will credit my mom with this. She told me, it is not what you wanna do in life, it's what you wanna do next. And dear God, I've started 2 businesses that are diametrically different. I went to school for nursing. I used to drive a concrete truck. I worked on the railroad. I was a cavalry scout. I was a government contractor in South America. It's what do you want to do next? So when we talk about a mission, I just want to simplify this for you. And I want you to close your eyes, do it with me. Imagine a sailboat. And you've now gotten on, you're taking a step off the dock, you're on the sailboat, you've unhooked it from the dock, and you're just floating, right? Now you put the sails up, pushed in the ocean, here we go. And I'm like, I want to go to Greece. And then let's pretend hypothetically that I'm smart enough to know which fucking way Greece is, right? But I aim my sailboat at Greece. Now, I'm a bit of a novice, and also the ocean has some changing winds, some changing tides, currents, many things that get in the way and can rock that boat. And it will, almost assuredly. But I'm at least aiming at Greece. Now I'm moving towards Greece. And what's happening? I'm making progress on my goal. I feel pretty good about this. And then a storm comes, and it blows my shit way the hell over here. And I'm like, whew, at least we're alive. That's good. We're just gonna keep going, right? And maybe another storm comes, and I'm way over here. And I overcome that too. Maybe it almost killed me. Got scraped up, fell overboard, but I'm getting there. And now I get here, and I realize, I'm not in Greece, I'm in Spain. And you know what? The food is awesome and the weather is perfect. And so Maybe I didn't end up where I wanted to be, but that is life. That is life in such a nutshell. And that idea is what changed my life. So let's break this down into like real tactical measures for your life, right? When you talk about your mission, you need a destination. That is the number one thing. What is your grease? And when you come to defining this, the more detail you add, the better. Carve an hour of your day out, sit down with a notebook and a pencil or pen, whatever, and think. What does it look like? Where am I living? Is it a big house? Is it a trailer? Is it an RV? Is it a mobile home? It doesn't matter what it is, right? Is it a sailboat, for God's sake? Where do you want to live? What do you want your daily life to look like your 9 to 5? And then what about when you get home? What about your morning routine? What are you driving to work, to the gym, to whatever? What kind of clothes do you wear? What kind of people do you engage with? And then you have to backwards calculate. Like once you've written these things out, like it could literally be just those 5 bullet points. You don't have to write a storybook, right? You take those 5 bullet points and now you say, what kind of man or woman do I need to be to have that? You know, you want to live in a big house and drive a Lamborghini? Okay, well, you probably got to get smart. You got to probably, and more than making yourself smarter, you probably need to make yourself more valuable, right? I have yet to meet somebody who has made more money than their personal development has earned them. And if they do, I can tell you more often than not, it very quickly corrects. So don't pray for things you're not ready for yet. Pray for the work to be deserving of them. Reverse engineer the amount of money it takes to live that life. You want a $600,000 house and you want a wife and you want 2 kids? Okay, you can ask ChatGPT, how much money do I need to make to do that with any margin of safety? Write that number down. What do you have to do? What kind of job can you work? What can you build to earn that kind of money on a yearly basis? And now something crazy is gonna happen. Have you ever noticed when you buy a car, you start seeing that same kind of car everywhere? That is your RAS. It's your reticular activating system. It's a filter for what arouses your brain, what you're aware of, right? Essentially what you're noticing. And so when you start to do things like say, man, I gotta make 600K a year, how am I gonna do that? Well, your brain starts looking for ways, man. Your algorithm on Instagram is gonna change. You're gonna start seeing business opportunities. Because why? Because you're gonna start liking business posts. You start learning about entrepreneurship. You're gonna learn about tax laws. You're gonna learn about these things piece by piece by piece. And if you're hyper intentional about it, you're gonna learn it even more and even faster. And that RAS, I don't know that it's a muscle and it gets stronger, but you definitely start picking up on more, at least in my personal experience. Now you remember in the analogy I gave you with the sailboat, that there were storms, currents, rogue waves, right? Things that'll knock you out. While I was building this company, right? I was moving forward, I was moving towards my grease, right? And boom, a blood clot in my left leg. This thing almost f***ing kills me. It causes me grievous pain. And furthermore, I get incredibly, incredibly depressed because the doctor tells me that there's a good chance my left leg will never work right again. You, Luke, at 33 years old, hope you enjoyed walking normal because you're done. Good chance you're done. That's depressing. That's horribly depressing, right? I'm trying to build a company, be the best man that I can be, get healthier, get stronger. I was in the gym doing my thing. And then boom, I get hit. But luckily I had this framework. Man, let's say that there's 10 other founders out there. There's 10 other CEOs out there who are building this same company. Right now, when they get hit with whatever their storm is, because trust me, you're gonna get hit every time you try to grow and get better. When they get hit, they're gonna quit. Me, I'm gonna make a plan and I'm gonna move faster. I'm not gonna let this stop me. Talk like the immediate tactics, because there's a big part of this that veterans need to understand. Your money has to be tied to that mission. I literally hedged every financial bet in my life on taking a bet on myself. So what happened is instead of spending money on bars and girls, I started spending that money on books, experiences, things that made me smarter, more well-rounded, and better networked, right? I would say it paid off and worked pretty well. That being said, plenty of people put it towards a normal retirement. They put it towards a house earlier than I did. There's many other ways you can do this, but it has to be tied to that reverse engineered mission. So factoring that in, having a budget, having a plan, knowing what you want to invest in yourself. Is it taking a course? Is it going to networking events? And it doesn't always have to even be directly related. So let's boil this down. The vets who win are the vets that turn their compensation into capacity. Capacity to improve themselves, capacity to grow, capacity to learn, right? That is the differentiator. You have to find your next mission, you have to make the backwards plan, reverse engineer how you get to it, and then you start executing on it. So right now, find your grease. And I'll be honest with you, I think I've already found the first, second, maybe third version of my grease, and I'm on to my next destination. I gotta upskill my team. I gotta level up the people around me so that they can take on little bits and pieces of what I've been handling. I gotta make it clear as day so that my team supports me and understands my goals. So, communicate your stuff, make movements, and execute. Now through this entire story, I hope you can understand now that your VA compensation, it's merely a foundation, right? And it's only a foundation if you use it right. You know, that money can literally build you the foundation of a home, or it can buy you a shit ton of beer, right? Or it can buy you a fancy car. Or that VA compensation can be the foundation. And if it's the foundation, guess what? You can stand on it and you can take bets on yourself from it. I need you to not doubt yourself. I need you to make that mission and I need you to execute on it. And most of all, I need you to use your VA compensation as a foundation.